Welcome, listeners. Today we've got the wonderful addition of Jim Maerk. He's the host of the podcast, The Old Man's Podcast, and various other ones. I will leave stuff in the description. He's really worth listening to. He's got loads of stuff going on, so I can't really go into it here. I'll be half an hour. But he's great. He's joining the rest of the cast, so he's joining Greg, Yvonne, me, and Dee, so it's going to be interesting. We've never had a narrator before, so we'll see how it goes. His stuff is in the description, so go there. Please share us and love us and show us things and do us nice things by going to the description. And I'll shut up now. Bye.
Inside the elevator, the narrator speaks. Hey guys, so here's the thing. Oh, you're gonna love this crew of badasses. They're inside an elevator, what you limeys call a lift for some reason. A lift? What? Why do you call it a lift? Is it a verb? Who cares? It's a damn elevator is what it is. Do these guys not know how to speak English properly around here? There ain't no letter U in color. It's color. Color. Ah, forget it.
Hang on a minute. Who the hell is that?
Said the professor.
I don't know.
Said Will, looking around the small box for the source of the voice. Monty took out a fresh hip flask, looking confused at the narrator explaining that he is doing this. He puts it back in his pocket and takes out a pistol, ready for action.
I don't know, chaps, but I barely don't like it.
He tells them, his mustache bristling with irritation.
I believe, chaps, we have ourselves narrator. It's not a good sign, I'm afraid. Takes me back to 56 and queer. All goes to hell in a handcart when you get your own bloody narrator on the job, you know, chaps.
Will you guys be quiet so I can get this done, please? I'm not doing this out of fun, you know. Part of Lucifer's stipulation for me being here and maybe getting back upstairs. I was trying to describe the damn elevator. The guys in the elevator all nodded, apparently in agreement for me to get on with this thing. Yeah?
Don't worry, chaps. I'll handle this. Been taught to do the old hostage negotiations, you know. Yes. Mr. Narrator person, certainly, old bean. Do carry on. You're doing splendidly. Although, do speak up. This music is infernal.
Cool, thanks. Not doing this for my health, you know. Nah, been dead for a while now. Okay, to get back to this, whatever it was, a description of, that's it, the elevator is not your standard deal. Too many buttons, all with the same label. Hell. Horrific elevator music, too. Just 4 brass-caged walls that hum like they've got opinions and lights that flicker like they're thinking about quitting, and a general sense that gravity has filed for divorce. You can speak now, guys. You need to speak or do something, guys. Come on. Otherwise, I have nothing to narrate. The 3 guys looked confused and blankly at each other.
What?
Asked the confused professor.
Well, I thought you wanted us quiet so you could, describe the scene or whatever.
So you're not going to say anything else then? The narrator asked the 4 of them. Just shoulder shrugs from the Brits and what I assume was a wolfy equivalent from the wolf soul.
I can see why we haven't had a bloody narrator before.
Fenrir. Can I call you Fen? I'll call you Fen. Fen says as if it would bother the narrator. It doesn't bother me. I ignore him. He isn't real. Anything else? I ask them. Nothing? Okay, if you guys aren't going to say anything useful, is it okay if I describe you to the listeners? Again, the mute pals look at each other, then nod to the light in the center of the ceiling, which they must think is where I'm at, dumbasses.
Well?
Shut up,
Blimey, old thing, you told him to talk, old chap.
said the wing commander. Sorry, guys, but you think you've had a weird day? They nodded. Vociferously? Writers? Serious? Are you guys serious? Showing off with big words. Swallow a dictionary recently? Taking a tharsis? There you go, I used another big word. God, I'm done with you guys. God, for crying out loud. A tharsis. Taking a tharsis as a suppository, probably? Jeez.
Take that back, sir. Suppositories are for the damn French, not an English gentleman such as me. We don't, put anything up there, sir. Not anything, not even the word I think you mean is thesaurus.
Whatever. Anyway, now I'm here. And what I'm sadly looking at and dealing with is, no. What you're looking at, listen to this, through me looking, is one of the strangest little group descents I've ever had the displeasure of narrating. Not that I've ever done this before. Why'd they choose me? I'll never know. Wait, what? The writers are giving me directions now? Oh, for crying out loud. Okay, back to the story. Oh, well, I take it back. Lucy has taste. We're inside an elevator. Coughed the professor. Oh, okay. They're inside the elevator. You British folk are pedantic. Huh? I already described the lift, gosh. But you listeners, if you're still listening, have probably forgotten what I said about the lift, because of these four doofuses continually butting in. Okay, front and center, we got Will. Big presence. The kind of guy who walks into a room and you immediately check where the exits are and hope your wife does not see him. Werewolf. Not the pathetic, tragic, brooding type either.
I think you mean brooding, old chap.
Whatever. No, this guy enjoys it. The violence, the chaos, the whole package. He's got this casual way about him, like he's deciding whether to grab a drink or dismember somebody. And honestly,
He's got you there to a T, Will,
said the wing commander, spoiling the narrator's flow.
Awfully sorry, old chap, but do carry on.
He said, apologizing vociferously. Sea writers, I know when to use it properly. You think us Americans are dumb, huh? Vociferously. Bet there's a stupid English letter U somewhere in there, huh? Anyways, I will repeat what I was saying before I got rudely interrupted. A werewolf. Not the pathetic, tragic, brooding type either. No, this guy enjoys it. The violence, the chaos, the whole package. I actually met his honey a while back. Sally was her name.
You met Sally?
Said Will. Said the professor. Said the wing commander. Said the wolf soul. So Will might get the idea to shut his hole at the moment. Thanks. That's right, Sally. She looked like a bowl of peaches. But she was not sweet, though, not at all. She's why I'm here.
What happened then?
Asked Will.
Let's just let him finish, shall we? Never had a narrator before. Could be quite a good addition, Who knows, and really, at this point, who gives a fuck?
Let me just say, I think I left a bad taste in her mouth. Next, we've got Fen, ancient wolf entity, big wolfy soul thing, end of the world vibes, the kind of presence that makes your instincts start packing their bags.
Hey, I quite like him. He's talking about me. He's got me there. Look, he's talking about me. See?
And somehow, he's the reasonable one in that relationship, which should tell you everything you need to know about Will.
Fair.
Said Will. Then there's Professor Simon de Montfort. Brilliant. The professor smiles a weak-chinned smile.
Hang on a minute, what do you mean, weak?
Dangerous. Carries enough occult knowledge and weaponry to ruin several dimensions. And right now, he's deeply, personally offended by the existence of this elevator. Not because it's taken him to hell. No. It's the lack of proper ventilation. And the fact that he's pissed that I don't call it a lift. Also, the man tried to pack cheeses for this trip. Cheeses. Into hell.
I think we should move along somewhat.
Into hell.
Look, what's wrong with cheese?
I swear, I'm not making that up. He tried to pack cheese for his trip into hell. Cheese. And finally, Wing Commander Montgomery Fortescue. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If not, they can edit it out.
Not a bad pronunciation for one of your, with your disability of having an American accent, old chap. Well done, but you do have to add retired.
Oh, excuse me, retired. If the rest of this situation is chaos, he's the guy standing in the middle of it with a straight back and a plan. The wing commander snaps off a perfect salute. Heels click, military man, old school. Believes in duty and honor with a stupid letter U in it. Oh. Doing the right thing even when right thing involves descending into literal damnation with a werewolf, a scholar who's mentally redecorating the underworld. He's the only one not complaining about the ride, which, by the way, is totally insane. Because this elevator, it's not moving down. It's moving wrong. Like reality itself is folding up and filing them away somewhere unpleasant. Now here's the part where things get awkward. See, I start doing my job, laying it all out nice and smooth, and they keep interrupting me. Yeah. They can hear me. Will, yeah, I see you. You're looking around like you're trying to punch a ghost. Can't find me, can you? The professor's demanding identification. The wing commander is treating me like an unexpected radio transmission. And Fen, well, Fen's just being, well, Fen, really. So I tell them who I am.
Hang on a minute. What is happening with the narrative tense in this episode? Is it present, past, future, or what precisely?
Please don't worry about the tense or being tense, Professor. I've got this. The name is Maerk. Jim Maerk. Host of the award-winning... How many awards have you won at Werewolf the Podcast, guys? Huh? Host of the award-winning Old Man's Podcast. I've dug into conspiracies, cryptids, all that good stuff that people listen to at 2 a.m. when they're questioning their life choices, made drive time music for various radio stations around the world, had a number of live podcasts with chats over the table, co-host on the Savage Unfiltered podcast. Grammy's Week Ahead is a mainstay. Check it out. All good and wholesome and not likely to kill me. But turns out the conspiracy cryptid stuff was the bit that got me murdered. Seems like one conspiracy that was fairies stealing kids that I was alarmingly correct about. Well, about most of it. Didn't help me much, though, when Sally tore my throat out.
Fair enough.
Will says.
Sally's a lot.
He continues. Just like I told him, the bar's out of his favorite beer. I mean, I appreciate the lack of a major meltdown, but still, little respect for the dead narrator wouldn't kill him. I reset, take a breath, and I start this whole thing again. But this time, I get a little more honest in my narration. Will, a walking bad decision. Loves the fight, loves the chaos, and yeah, he'll steal your apple and then hand you $50 like that balances the scale. Fen, ancient terror, sure, but stuck babysitting a lunatic.
Fair.
Says the wolf, getting a side eye from Will.
He's not wrong there, old chap, I'm afraid.
Adds the wing commander, patting the nodding Will on his back. The professor? Genius. Absolutely. But if hell doesn't have proper storage conditions, he's going to file a complaint with someone, probably Satan.
Not like she gives a damn. Ooh, damn! Get it? Somewhat amusing, what?
Says the professor, getting a snigger of a joke well said by the elevator's populace.
Quiet, chaps. Let's see what this chap has to say about himself.
Thanks, Monty. I acknowledge the gentleman's help. And the wing commander? Good dude. Solid guy. Probably the only one here who deserves a medal instead of what's waiting at the bottom of this ride. And as I'm watching them, all of them, the elevator starts to shift. Lights dim, walls hum louder. Something out there, somewhere, notices. I gotta tell you guys, all the guys in the very British lift, I've spent years talking about monsters, about the dark, about all things waiting on the other side. But these four? Yeah. I lean back, metaphorically, because apparently I don't have a body anymore, and I just say it. I'm glad they're going to hell, because whatever's down there, it's about to have a very, very bad day. The lift stops, the door opens, and, well, there is nothing. I mean, nothing. Well, that seems a bit of a letdown.
Lucy, do you know what the trouble is with eternity? It's the endless, and I mean endless, bloody waiting. As I said, it is bloody endless. Sometimes utterly tedious. Most of it, just unimaginative waiting for things to happen. Civilizations rise, civilizations fall, and somewhere in between you're still sat in a perfectly lovely drawing room in the Midlands, watching an elevator take far too long to descend into the pit of hell. Waiting for something to happen. So naturally, I improved the situation. I was seated, of course, one must set the tone, in the professor's drawing room. Oh, he does adore it. Edwardian splendour clinging all around me as it desperately tried to stay relevant. The fire, boringly, behaved itself. The furniture, well, it obviously had opinions but knew better than to express them. I had made additions to the room's decor, partially to annoy the room's owner and most frequent occupant, but mainly so we could use it to watch the unfolding of tonight's game. I had placed on the far wall, which I had temporarily relieved of its magnificently magnificent portrait of the noble professor in a past era, an 85-inch television, which happily displayed the lift interior, complete with the complaints and existential dread of its occupants, and that extraordinary American narration. I had purposely employed Jim for this. Nothing riles British men of a certain age more than a confident American man explaining those men's actions to the British men themselves. Trudeau, my dear, unhelpfully judgmental demon cat, was curled beside me, flicking her tail just because she could. You would flick yours if you had one, wouldn't you? Luck sat nearby, or rather, in this case, the goddess of bad luck. Red hair deepened to something like arterial memory, eyes glowed crimson. Now she represented resplendent in some diaphanous red dress that billowed in the fluttering breeze. The breeze that did not exist. She was definitely a presence that made probability itself flinch slightly. She'd shifted from good to bad without asking, which I rather respected. Initiative is so rare these days. Well, someone was going to get some bad luck in the next few moments. Thankfully, I knew it wasn't going to be me. Oh no, not through some sort of intuition about her, no. She would just tell me, you see. It's rare that she can tell someone what kind of luck they're getting, so with me, she likes to tell me personally. Vaunt was also present, bless her. Hovering somewhere between attentive service and gothic rebellion, boots planted as if she might kick reality if it misbehaved. Then, the bell. Ah, finally, I told the room. Vaunt answered it, of course, she always does. There's something deeply satisfying about sending a tattooed, mohawked werecat in Victorian lace to greet one's guests. It sets expectations appropriately. Those expectations obviously vary, but she sets them very well. And in they came. Balfasters first, smug, unclaimed, wearing that tiresome expression of someone who believes he's far more important than he actually is. Still in his blood-stained McDonald's uniform he had been recently murdered in. Behind him came... Oh, how shall I put this delicately? Well... I mean, it was... No, in this case, there was no delicate way to describe this delicately. It was a version of the Duke Demon of Hell, Astaroth, in a human form. Well, yes, but only in the same way a storm is just weather. Androgynous, fluid. The demon's edges never quite settling. Features shifting just enough to keep the eye uncertain and the mind uneasy. It was very on brand for... correct pronoun is required. There is only one. Demon. Well, it nearly works as a pronoun. I smiled at them, naturally. Do come in, I said. You're just in time. We've only just begun. They hesitated. They always do. Rooms look like this, rooms with me in them, even when borrowed, tend to rearrange a person's confidence slightly. I gestured to the seating. Sit, please. You'll want to be comfortable. A pause. Then, because I am nothing if not gracious. Port? Cheese? The professor insists, and I've found it best not to argue with a man who brings dairy products into metaphysical conflicts. They rightly looked confused at my last statement. Good. Vaunt was already moving, glasses poured, biscuits arranged with quiet efficiency. Trudeau watched the proceedings like a minor god, considering whether to knock something off a shelf. I leaned back, took in the room. My players. Yes, I said softly. This will do nicely. Thank you for coming, I continued. I do appreciate participation. It's so difficult to organise these things without willing. Normally I would say victims, but that does not track in this case, I told them. Balfastus frowned. Astaroth smiled, or something approximating it. And I began the introductions. Allow me, I said, gesturing lightly towards the screen, where the lift shuddered and the occupants argued about space, morality, and the lack of proper bar service. In the elevator, currently en route to a rather educational experience, we have, I waved a hand, a werewolf with enthusiasm but limited foresight, his ancient wolf companion, who I suspect is already regretting several millennia of decisions, a professor who will, I assure you, attempt to intellectualize his way through hell, and a wing commander who will try to organize it. A pause, a sip of port. Good luck to them all. Then I turned deliberately toward her. And here, I said with a small knowing smile, we have luck. She didn't smile back. Red suited her. Dangerously so. It was, I continued, rather fortunate that she had arrived when she did. It seems she has skin in the game with our British hero Monty, I told the damned duo. Luck said nothing, which in her current aspect was far more concerning than if she had. Balfastus shifted. Ah, there it was. The objection.
Hey, this is unfair,
he said.
having luck on your side.
I raised a hand gently. I voiced. He stopped immediately as I robbed him, quite literally, of his voice. Yes, I said, nodding thoughtfully, it is, but I have no control over her. So you can try and get rid of her if you wish. Luck suddenly became a beacon of raging red flame, although that would piss her off, and that would be a very unlucky thing to do. I told the thing. A sip of port. Calm. Measured. It's very unfair. Another sip. Oh, very much so. I finished with a wink. And I smiled because really, if one's going to rig a game, one might as well do it properly. Lucy. Do you know what I most dislike about games? It isn't losing. It's not being told the rules have changed. I do that all the time. It's not when people cheat. I like that. I sort of have expectations of cheating from my usual clientele. They're nothing if not cliched. The thing I dislike, it's the need to know what they win. Was it not good enough to have beaten the devil? Beat the devil? Can you imagine? Sorry. Astaroth, of course, was the one to ask. They are always curious things, demon beings. All seek an ambiguity and far too pleased with themselves.
What
They asked me.
are we playing for?
Such a small question, such a telling one. I smiled, because there's only ever one answer worth giving. Just everything, I told them. All of it. The lot. No hedging, no clever phrasing, no contracts hidden in the margins. Just truth. It tends to unsettle people and unpeople alike. Astaroth didn't look unsettled. They looked delighted, which, I admit, I found irritating. They reached over quite unnecessarily and began petting Balfastus's hand like he was some sort of favoured animal. The smile they gave him was enormous, intimate, almost conspiratorial, almost a sex act in itself. I was missing something. I do hate being excluded from conspiracies, even imaginary ones. Still, I continued, because I'm nothing if not composed. I had arranged everything. The pieces were in motion, the elevator was descending, the professor, the werewolf, the wing commander, all moving exactly where they needed to be. The board, I assumed, would be waiting. After all, it's my hell. And then the lift stopped. I turned to the screen, calmly, gracefully, expecting spectacle. The doors opened, and it was nothing? No throne room, no 10th circle, no screaming, writhing, theatrically lit expanse of despair. Just pure absence of anything. A void so complete it bordered on insult. I blinked, which I do not do lightly. I might miss something. I had arranged, I said very carefully, for them to arrive in the throne room, a gesture toward the screen. 10th level. It's quite impressive. I've had excellent reviews. Another pause. Longer, colder. And yet, I added, there appears to be no hell and in such no game board. I turned back to them, to Astaroth, to Balfastus. How, I asked, are we meant to play without somewhere to play? And that is when Balfastus laughed at me. Oh, I despise that. It had happened. Balfastus was all smugness wrapped in amusement. He reached into his pocket with all the casual arrogance of someone about to be extremely irritating.
You didn't think,
he said,
that I'd let you control everything, did you?
He produced the ring. I was confused. It was only a ring of summoning. How could it have this much control? This much power? Of course, he had something. Was he already bluffing? Men like him always have something they think they can get one over on old Nick with. Always, sadly, for men like this, they were commonly very small objects, no innuendo intended, but innuendo fits. Men's small objects always seem to have large consequences. Powerless men were very predictable.
I haven't summoned my board,
he said. Ah, shit. I never thought of that. Yes, the Ring of Summoning could do that. Ah, shit. And then Luck screamed. Now that got my attention. She shifted instantly. Red collapsed into something deeper, something unstable. Purple, a colour that never means anything good when it appears uninvited. Balfastus began chanting, and I will say this plainly. I did not like the language, not because it was ancient, but because it wasn't supposed to be used. The air bent. Reality did that unpleasant folding thing it does when something important arrives without permission. And then he was there. Sitting, already seated, as though he'd always been there and we had simply failed to notice. An old man, black stripy pyjamas, Velcro slippers, utterly mundane. Except he had no eyes. Not missing, not hidden, just absent. And he shone. Black. I know. Impossible. Not darkness. No, darkness is simple. This was subtraction. Luck looked at him, and I watched something very rare happen. She became annoyed.
Oh, you,
she said, which coming from her is practically a declaration of war. She turned to me, flat, unimpressed.
That's my brother.
A pause. Then, with the kind of resignation one usually reserves for family gatherings.
You've met before, a very long time ago. He does not seem to get out much these days. It's Freddy Fate.
I sat staring with my mouth open, then laughed. Of course he is, I announced to the room. And in that moment, I realised something. This was no longer my game, which I assure you only makes it more interesting.